Hi, welcome to this week's outdoor skill. This week we are going to be learning about lashing. So what you'll need to participate are some sticks or some dowel rods, anything that you can kind of tie together, some pencils if you have them. So lots of different sticks, and then some sort of rope. So the best is probably paracord, but if you don't have that, that's fine. Twine would work. Any kind of rope that you have at home should be fine. So I've already cut mine into slightly smaller pieces so that I'm ready to go. So lashing is simply just securing two kind of sticks or multiple sticks together so that you can create some sort of structure. So before we get started, you're going to need to know a couple knots. Okay, so the first knot you need to know is your clove hitch. So I'm just gonna wrap around the pole. You see how that kind of makes an X right there? Then I'm going to continue to go around and I'm going to just pull it together. So the front side will look like kind of an X and the back will just look like that. So just kind of two strings together. I'm going to do it one more time for you. Finger here. Okay, so I'm going to go around and make an X, kind of where my finger is. Then I'm going to poke this exactly where my finger was, so between these two quadrants, and pull together. So that's my clove hitch. So this is pretty much how we're going to start all of our lashings. Okay, so for square lashing, you're going to need two sticks, poles, spars, whatever you have. We're going to start with our clove hitch, kind of in the middle-ish. So I've got my clove hitch right here. Got my clove hitch, and then I also have my second one. And so I'm going to kind of put them up here like this, 90-degree angles. It's kind of awkward the first couple times, but that's okay. You might want to get closer so you can see this. So all I'm going to do is go over and behind. And then over and behind. I'll do this a couple times. So I'm going over, then I'm going behind, I'm going over and behind, over, and then behind, over, and then behind. So as you can see, this is still kind of finicky. So what I need to do to make this more secure is tie what's called a flapping turn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in between the two sticks like this that I'm connecting together and give it 2 or 3 kind of turns. That's really going to make this a lot more secure than it was before. And then you can tie off with a clove hitch, or you can just do a square knot right there. Okay, so this is our square lashing. So for this next one, we are going to do diagonal lashing. So most people start this with a timber hitch. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your rope, pass it underneath here. You're going to take your working end around your standing end like that. And then you're just going to give it 1, 2, 3 turns around each other. And then when you pull it, it's awkward. It's a diagonal. You should be ready to go. And if the timber hitch isn't working for you, go ahead and just use the clove hitch. So instead of going just over under like we did last time, we're just going to go diagonally. So try to orient this for you. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. And usually 3 or 4 is fine. And then we're just going to go diagonally the other way. 1, 2, 3. Try to make them lay as nice and flat as you can. And then we're going to do the same thing we did last time. So we're just going to go ahead and do our frapping turns. 3 or 4 in there should be good. Your frapping turns in here. And then you can either tie off with a clove hitch or do your square knot onto your other one. So I don't have a whole lot of rope left, so I'm just going to go ahead and tie it off with our clove hitch. Hello! So next we're going to make a tripod, or do some tripod lashing. After you've created your tripod, you can use it for cooking, or kind of a base for making something else. So tripod lashing is a type of shear lashing. So we're going to start with our clove hitch, like we've been doing. And I've got my 3 pieces kind of next to each other. If you have pieces that are multiple sizes, you want to just make sure the bottom is lined up, and then any extra can kind of be up here. You want to make sure the bottom is lined up. And this is probably pretty intuitive, but all we're going to do is just go over, under a couple times. So we're just going back and forth, going over, under. In between each spar. I'm trying to keep it kind of close-ish together. Okay, so we've got that, and now we're just going to go in between the opposite way. And do our frapping turns. To secure everything. And I'm just going to tie it off really quick with my clove hitch. If I can get in between there. Come here, little buddy. Got them tied off. So now we're just going to take them. You see they're kind of moving, and we're just going to move them around to create our tripod. I like to take like the first one and tuck it in between 2 and 3. So if this is 1, 2, 3, I take 1, tuck between 2 and 3, because it just locks it a little bit better than if you just take 1, 2, 3 and go like this. It could kind of fall weird. So this is tripod lashing. Again, you can build a big one over a fire. You can hang like a pot over it to cook. You can also use this to start making like a shelter. You could do like a teepee, or you could use it more as a lean-to. So if you, or like an A-frame. So if this middle one was longer, like that, you could start taking some branches and other materials and start leaning it against it like that. So our next lashing is round lashing. So this is used to make a bigger stick or a pole. Usually it's used to make a flagpole. So let's jump into it. Okay, so we are going to start by tying a clove hitch to both of these. So we're tying them together with our clove hitch. Whoop. It's a little squiggly, don't mind me. There we go. We've got our clove hitch, and then we're just going to do 6 or so wraps with it around both of them. 4, 5, And then we'll end by using another clove hitch. So we're actually going to have to do 2 round lashings on this to make it secure because this side's still kind of very wiggly. Okay, so we've got that part. See, it's still wiggly. So we'll take another piece of cord and we'll tie another clove hitch. Here we go. And let's just wrap it a couple more times. 4, 5, 6. Finish up with our clove hitch. Okay, and now we've got a nice little flagpole we can use. Now that you've learned 4 different types of lashings, go ahead and take it outside and make a fort or make a shelter or something else, or head inside and make a super awesome pillow fort.